Picture this. It's Saturday morning. You scroll through Netflix for 10 minutes, find nothing, and switch over to YouTube. Another 15 minutes gone. You've paid for multiple streaming services this month, but have barely used them. It feels like pocket change. Maybe $8 here, $15 there. But what if I told you that exact pocket change is quietly draining over $50,000 from your future? That's not an exaggeration. It's the math of the subscription trap. And pretty much all of us are caught in it. Ever get that feeling of an empty bank account even though you're working hard? That nagging sense that your money is just vanishing? There's a name for that. Subscription creep. It's the slow, almost invisible pileup of small recurring charges that, altogether, punch a massive hole in your finances. And here's the truly shocking part. Most of us have no clue how deep that hole is. Studies show that while the average person thinks they spend about $86 a month on subscriptions, the actual average is a staggering $219. That's more than 2.5 times what people think they're paying. We're bleeding money, and we don't even feel it. One survey found that about 3/4 of consumers admitted it was easy to forget about their recurring monthly charges. Think of it like a slow leak in a tire. A tiny puncture doesn't seem like a big deal. The car still drives, but leave it overnight and you will wake up to a flat, completely stranded. These subscriptions are the tiny punctures in your financial life. A $12 music service, a $15 movie platform, a $20 software tool. Individually, they feel harmless, but together they are slowly deflating your ability to build wealth. One study found that 42% of people admit they've forgotten about at least one subscription they are still paying for. Free trials that silently roll over into paid plans are a huge reason why, accounting for a huge number of forgotten subscriptions. Before we get into exactly how this happens and the psychological tricks they use, do me a favor. Pause and take a wild guess. How many subscriptions do you think you have right now? 5? 10? Drop that number in the comments. I'm willing to bet the real number is much higher than you think. So, why do we fall for this? Are we just lazy or bad with money? Not really. The truth is, the entire subscription economy is built on some very clever psychology. These companies aren't just selling you a service. They're engineering a system designed to get you in, keep you in, and make leaving a giant pain. It's often called a roach motel, a term for something that's easy to get into but hard to get out of. They are absolutely banking on you doing nothing. First, they use a cognitive bias called loss aversion. Behavioral economists have proven that the pain of losing something feels about twice as strong as the pleasure of an equal gain. When you think about canceling a subscription, your brain doesn't focus on the $15 you'll save. It fixates on the loss of access to thousands of movies, even if you weren't watching them anyway. Companies crank this up by bundling services like Amazon Prime, creating several potential losses that make hitting cancel feel even worse. Second, they are masters at reducing the pain of paying. A one-time payment of $180 for a year feels like a real decision. You'd have to stop and think about it. But $14.99 a month? That feels like nothing. It's priced to fly right under your mental radar. Pair that with autopay, and the transaction becomes completely invisible. The spending just blends into the background noise of your finances. Third, they weaponize our status quo bias. We are creatures of habit. The easiest path is always the one that requires no action. Companies know this. Signing up for a service is a smooth, one-click process. But canceling, suddenly you're navigating hidden menus, filling out surveys, or even forced to make a phone call during specific business hours. Every extra click is a deliberate point of friction designed to make you give up and say, ugh, I'll deal with it later. Of course, later almost never comes. And finally, these subscriptions often get tangled up in our identity. You're not just paying for a fitness app, you're paying to be the kind of person who's fit. You're not just paying for a productivity tool, you're investing in your organized, successful future self. This emotional connection makes it even harder to cut the cord because it feels like you're giving up on a better version of yourself. Now, for my favorite part, the math. This is where the vague danger of the subscription trap gets terrifyingly real. Let's move past the psychology and look at the cold, hard numbers. We've seen that some studies show the average person is spending around $219 a month on subscriptions. Let's be conservative and round that down to an even $200 a month. That's $2,400 a year. Over 10 years, that's $24,000 you've handed over to these companies. That's the price of a solid used car or a nice down payment on a house. It's a lot of money, but that's not the real cost. The real cost, the number that should actually shock you, is the opportunity cost. That's the hidden value of what you're giving up. By choosing to let that $200 leak out of your account every month, you're giving up the opportunity for that money to grow. Let's say instead of spending it, you automatically invested that $200 into a simple, low-cost index fund, like one tracking the S&P 500. Historically, the stock market has returned an average of about 10% annually, but returns can vary wildly. So let's be conservative and use an 8% average annual return, keeping in mind that past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Here's what happens. After 1 year, your $2,400 invested would be worth about $2,500, no big deal. After 5 years, your $12,000 in contributions would have grown to over $14,700. You've made nearly $3,000 just by letting your money work for you. But after 10 years, the magic of compounding really kicks in. You would have put in $24,000, but your account would be worth over $36,500. That's $12,500 in free money. But wait, the actual reported average is $219. If we use that number after 10 years at an 8% return, the opportunity cost is nearly $50,000. Let me say that again. That little collection of $9.99, $14.99, and $29.99 charges, the ones that feel like nothing, are costing the average person a 5-figure sum every single decade. Over 30 years, that same $219 a month could grow to over $325,000. That's a retirement fund. This is the subscription trap. It's not about the money you spend today. It's about the future wealth you never get a chance to build. So how do you fix this? How do you fight back against a system designed to drain your wallet? It's simpler than you think. Here is your 3-step plan to audit your subscriptions and take your money back. Treat this as a 15-minute challenge. Set aside time right after this video and just do it. Step 1, the subscription audit. This is the most important step. You can't fix what you can't see. Open your credit card and bank statements for the last month. Go through them line by line and write down every single recurring charge. Don't guess. Find the actual transactions. Netflix, Spotify, Amazon Prime, iCloud, your gym, that language app you use twice, everything. List them all out with their monthly cost. This is your moment of truth. Step 2, the value matrix. Now, for each subscription on that list, ask yourself 2 brutally honest questions. First, how often do I actually use this? Not how often you plan to use it, but how often you actually used it in the last month. Second, does this give me real, tangible value or just aspirational value? Does it save you time, make you money, or provide entertainment you genuinely use and love? Or are you just paying for the idea of being someone who uses it? Be ruthless. The gym you haven't been to in 3 months is aspirational. The streaming service you only open when you're bored is not essential. Step 3, the purge. This is the fun part. For everything that didn't pass the value matrix test, you have to cancel it. Right now. No, I'll do it next week. Do it now. And be ready for a fight. Companies use dark patterns like hiding the cancel button or using guilt-tripping language. Are you sure you want to lose all your benefits? They might force you to talk to a chatbot or even a person. Stay strong. The Federal Trade Commission is pushing for a click-to-cancel rule to make this easier. But until then, you have to be persistent. Say no to the discount offers. Say no to the pause option. Just cancel. For every single subscription you take that monthly amount and set up an automatic transfer to an investment account. This is how you flip the script. You're taking the money that was leaking out and turning it into an engine for your wealth. The subscription trap is sneaky and it's powerful. It uses our own psychology and inertia to create thousands of tiny leaks in our financial lives. But the key takeaway is this. It's not about the $9.99. It's about the $50,000. It's about what that money could have become. Building wealth isn't always about landing a higher paying job. A lot of the time, it's just about paying attention. By taking control of these small automatic payments, you're taking back control of your financial future. So take the 15-minute challenge, do your audit, cut the dead weight, and start turning those monthly drains into a powerful stream of future wealth. If you found this helpful, subscribe for more content on how to manage your money and build a better financial life. Thanks for watching.